Hey, so as John said at the beginning, there's a bit of a content warning for this one. I'm going to be talking a bit about depression and suicide, so if that's going to bother you, you know, there you have it. Sorry. So I wanted to start with a little bit of a vulnerability exercise to set the stage because I am going to be talking a little bit about things that are like super personal to me, so I would love a little bit of give and take. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you a question about why you all got into starting your communities, the reasons that you support the communities that you have, and just raise your hand if this applies to you. So if everyone could just close their eyes really quickly. All right. So if you're doing this because it's gratifying, because it's a lot of fun. Okay. If you're doing this to impress, like maybe a future employer, your peers, a paramour, no shame. Okay? If you're doing this because you, like me, have experienced the incredible pain of being excluded and you want to prevent anyone else from ever having to go through that. Can I see your hands? Thank you. The way that I grew up, I didn't have an opportunity to really set down roots. My dad was in the Army. I traveled around a lot. I went to 4 high schools before I graduated. Fun fact, I'm not pictured in any of my yearbooks. And it led to this feeling of being perpetually out of place. I also struggle a lot with my mental health doing me no favors. I often feel like I'm keeping it together with a stick of gum, a rubber band, and some tape. And this year has been by far the hardest year of my life. To give you a little bit of context, I spent more time this last term of school in the hospital than anywhere else. More than class, more than being home, more than anything else that I've done over the last 3 months, I've just been in the hospital. And part of the reason that it took so long to get past this is because I didn't really have a local support system around me. So the rest of this talk is going to be a little bit about the critical importance of setting these communities up and supporting them in where we call home. In retrospect, it's a little bit horrifying to think about the place that I was in and how primed I was for radicalization. And fortunately, the people who radicalized me were the GitHub campus experts and some supercomputing nerds, so I'm okay. But I spent so much time alone, not because I desired to be alone, but because it's preferable to being around people that make you feel like you're alone. It's the difference between feeling disconnected from all the things happening around you and feeling completely irrelevant to it. So every single one of you have the capacity to create these communities, and as such, I believe that you have the responsibility because it is something that is desperately needed, speaking as one person from experience. I am unfathomably fortunate that I did find the Campus Expert program, and so I want to give a shout out really quickly to Joe, Lika, and Aurelia, who have the DMs as receipts for how much support they've been to me over the last year. And the community... And I would love to speak to you all more offline about what's different about the Campus Experts that made me feel like I belonged for probably the first time in my life. But what I would really like to do is to talk some specifics and address one potential paradigm shift that I think we can all walk away with. I think the goal is to treat our communities with the love and kindness they deserve, that they're yearning for. And I've saved 30 seconds of the end of this talk for this explicit purpose. What I really want to stress is that inclusion is not a static idea. It is in constant flux as we learn more about the people around us, as we understand more about our communities. Every time we interact with somebody else, our definition of inclusion should change. I want to focus on one aspect of every event, which is the welcoming. So we often approach it from the perspective of what do I need to feel welcome, and that's doing a disservice to everyone who's not exactly like you. So what I would challenge you to do is to expand that to consider someone different from you. Where are your blind spots? Who are your edge cases? And I want you to take 30 seconds and just think about how you could possibly convey the idea that I'm glad that you specifically came to this event. I am glad that you are here at this event. I'll watch the clock. Any time that we spend refining and iterating on this experience is never wasted. If we can't sort this out, in our local communities, how can we expect the technology that we're making, that is literally evolving the world, to be wholesomely inclusive? Thank you for your time.